Hello, friends. We are all in a hurry to go somewhere and order a taxi, so today we will talk about taxis. It was a dark and stormy night when Sarah decided to take a taxi home from her friend's party. She had had a little too much to drink and didn't want to risk driving. The taxi arrived quickly and Sarah got in. Feeling relieved to be out of the rain. The driver was an older man with a gruff voice and an unsettling stare. He didn't say much as he drove, and Sarah felt uncomfortable sitting next to him in the confined space of the car. She tried to make small talk, but the driver only responded with short, curt answers. As they drove further into the night, Sarah began to feel uneasy. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the driver. Then, suddenly, the car started to make strange noises. The engine sputtered and coughed, and the headlights flickered. The driver pulled over to the side of the road and got out to inspect the car. Sarah waited nervously in the back seat, her heart pounding in her chest. After a few minutes, the driver returned and told her that they would have to wait for another car to come and pick them up. As they waited, Sarah noticed that they were parked in front of an old abandoned house. The windows were boarded up and the paint was peeling off the walls. She shuddered at the thought of spending the night there. Suddenly, the driver turned to her and grinned a crooked grin. "You know," he said, "this is the perfect spot for a horror story. In fact, I have one for you." Sarah's blood ran cold as the driver began to tell her a tale of a woman who had taken a taxi on a stormy night, only to be kidnapped and never seen again. As he spoke, Sarah realized with growing horror that the story sounded all too familiar. She tried to open the door, but it was locked. He pounded on the windows, but they wouldn't break. The driver continued his story, his voice growing louder and more menacing. Finally, Sarah's phone rang, breaking the spell. It was her friend, wondering where she was. Sarah quickly told her friend where she was and that she needed help. Her friend called the police, who arrived a few minutes later. The driver was arrested, and Sarah was taken home safely, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she had narrowly escaped a terrible fate that night. She never took a taxi alone again, and always made sure to check the driver's ID and license plate number before getting in. This story tells about what could happen to each of us. Each of the stories makes us appreciate our life.